Welcome back to the Nakamoto 101 sessions where we're explaining the Bitcoin Whitepaper section by section in little chunks. This is section 6, incentive, and what Satoshi calls the first transaction of a block is nowadays colloquially referred to as the block reward, and it served at the beginning as the center of Bitcoin's incentive structure and is still really important today. Can you explain how block rewards work in practical terms?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the network, there was, no activity and, no coins in circulation. So the way they distribute the coins is by giving out 50 every block. They do this for 4 years, and then every 4 years they cut that amount in half. So what that ends up happening is you have these big drastic reductions. You lose 25 coins a block, you lose 12 coins a block. And, as we are now, we're just headed into the 6 era. Now, as the reward reduces over time, it's expected that the activity on the network, the people paying fees to have their transactions included, will replace the block reward, which is how we get Bitcoin as a fixed supply or a deflationary currency, because any coins lost can never be put back in circulation.
Thank you. So Satoshi moves on in the middle of the incentive section to introduce transaction fees paid by people who want to send Bitcoin over the network. They're being paid to the miners. And the vision is that over time we will transition to only needing the transaction fees sustaining it when there are no more block rewards being released. And verbatim in the paper it says, once a predetermined number of coins have entered circulation, the incentive can transition entirely to transaction fees and be completely inflation free. So I know that predetermined number of coins is 21 million, correct? And can you describe more what we see that vision as?
Yeah, so the distribution period, which would be probably the first 20 to 24, 28 years of Bitcoin's life, you're going to have block rewards usually worth more than the amount of fees that are coming in. But then there'll be a maybe period of 10 or 20 years where it's kind of even and slowly going in the other way as the reward shift. And the hope is that at the end of that period, there will be enough activity to compensate the miners without having to issue new coins. And the reason so as more people use the network and there's a limited number of block space to put transactions in, about 1 megabyte every 10 minutes, only so many people can be included. So you end up having people outbid each other and tell the miners, my transaction will pay you more. So the miners are most likely going to accept the most high-paying people. So what you end up having is a fee market where the more people are using the network, the more expensive it gets, and the less people, the cheaper it gets. And the idea is when everyone's using it, that'll balance out and provide the inflation-free rewards.
Excellent. And I know you had mentioned before the user group that primarily sends or receives Bitcoin on a mobile wallet without running a node themselves. In my experience, most mobile wallets kind of have their automatic fee calculations set in a way that assumes you are so urgently wanting to send Bitcoin that you better pay a competitive fee like you've described. So that actually seems to weirdly ratchet up market fees
really
very
does.
quickly.
Yeah, it's one of the sadder parts of Bitcoin is most of the people using it are using it purely for trading or a financial now kind of situation. If you're not in a rush, generally, it's good to learn how to check what the fees are right now and how fast you need your transaction to go through. You don't really want to be spending too much, and some of the wallets are, even to this day, extra bad. And, when two bad wallets are outbidding each other to get in first, it's nothing but pain for everybody else.
Yeah. So at the end of this section, Satoshi returns to modeling kind of game theory style around bad actors, and in this case, the bad actor being modeled is described as a greedy attacker. So we return to this kind of what could go wrong if someone tries to exploit this network, and very concretely, Satoshi says the incentives described here may help encourage nodes to stay honest. If a greedy attacker is able to assemble more CPU power than all the honest nodes, he would have to choose between using it to defraud people by stealing back his payments or using it to generate new coins. Can you put this in practical terms yet again?
Yeah, I think the real important part is he could use it to steal back his own payments. So as in this case, the greedy attacker has assumed more than half the power in the network. So he's able to remake the blocks faster than other people. So he would steal back his own coins, not anyone else's coins. He couldn't move other people's coins. He can't change balances. He can just spend his own, more than once. But as he's doing this, he's not finding the new blocks all the time. He's having to stop the regular mining and go back, start his new attack chain, I guess you'd call it, to include his second of the same transaction and delete the old one. So instead of doing that, or when he's doing that, he's losing out on a lot of reward time. So instead of always being safe from some sort of fancy, like, oh, this is our security system, you say, like, if you want to play, you must expend resources. So if you're expending those resources to do your attack, well, that's a risk that it doesn't work. And there's just a fixed income that's just kind of waiting for you. I always like to refer to Bitcoin mining as kind of a job that's posted for everyone. And the rules are clear. You can see how much competition there is at any time. And we all have mostly the same information. It's just, do you want to get hired or not?
It's something where we're looking at bad actors in Bitcoin and we are just bribing them to be good. Essentially, we're making it systemically it would be more expensive to not participate in the system as it's been described. It's kind of like, it reminds me of in places where there are really stringent laws protecting renters, there's a concept of keys for cash, where like a landlord will pay you a certain amount to just move out and end the headache. Similarly, building into the network itself, just like, okay, you will be rewarded if you behave honestly and just give us that sweet computing power.
Yeah, and rewarded in a predictable way. So, like, it's like, here you go, take it or leave it.
Well, thank you. This marks us being halfway through the Bitcoin Whitepaper. So, on that note, we'll see you next time.